We all know all too well more Dakka is completely broken. We've heard the cries, we've heard the complaints, we've seen it all. But is there hidden factions out there, armies, that are going to come up and start performing very well as well? Maybe Guard, maybe EC. Stay tuned and locked in. Back to it, baby. And I had to put the orc background, the wallpaper there too, just to let people know, right? Oh man. I am the troll queen. You all right? You choking on your tongue over there, Regal?
No, my mic just muted itself, and I'm like, why is he muting me? I didn't even like say anything controversial yet.
Oh, that's right. I did mute you. My bad. Because you, like, I could hear you during the intro section. So yeah, I muted it.
I just saw, but
glad you didn't unmute yourself.
It says your mic is muted. So I looked at it. I'm like, no, it's not. I was just talking. Oh well. No, for those of you who didn't hear, I said, yeah, like you guys forgot or haven't heard about orcs yet.
Yeah, Mo Dakka is it's strong. It's definitely very strong. I actually played 3 games with it too. And for the record, it's not that broken. I only scored 100 to -15, 100 to -30.
Negative? Started telling you points.
They got negative points. I ended up getting 100 points.
Y'all heard it here first. In the exhibition pack, it's going to be possible to go negative. You owe your opponent points now.
It's a challenge. Look, Lunas still hit on 6s, right? They can sit for a turn, hit on 5s. You get abilities, stratagems, things like that where you can hit on 5. They still hit on 6s, even though if you hit 6 times, it turns into 18. It's not a big deal.
You know what? You know my thing about this. Everyone's looking at it like, "Oh my god, they can kill anything in the game. How are we gonna beat this?" And I'm like, that's not new though.
Yeah,
like 30 Dark Reapers, 15 Fire Dragons, Janesar, and some Banshees. A unit of Wind Rut 6-man Windrunner with Warlock Conclave attached to it. Like these bricks of we're gonna kill you in a turn if we can see you. Bringers of Flame unnerved, for a while. Like the Star Shatter, what was it? Bridgehead Strike. Like this isn't new to the game, and no, I think this. I think
you have it right.
What was it? Bridgehead Strike. Like, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you have the antithesis correctly. I think you just get 30 Dark Reapers, and there you go. Whoever hits each other at 48 first wins.
Not even that though. Like I think this is most closely related to Bridgehead Strike, where they had the tanks, they had the Scions up and down, they had for some time 3-inch Deep Strike, they had move blocks, mortal wounds, the bodies, the hold primary. Like they had all the vehicles to hop in and out of to like shell game their units up board. And sure, they didn't have sustain too. They had lethal, or not lethal. They had some other stuff, but like. To me, and maybe it's because I play Tyranids and everything can kill a Tyranid army, if that's not in contention. The threat of, I'm going to kill you, but faster, really it's up to you to make them not. Like, yes, it's strong, it's going to get nerfed, probably sustained 1, and maybe, make it, boys units or orc, non-Gretchen units that can go into the wall whenever you want from the stratagem. Probably, that might be enough, honestly. Because, like you were saying, sus want an army who natively hits on 5s and 6s in shooting, probably not too bad.
Yeah, I think that's the route that is going to go, and I think that's the easiest route, too, without completely dumpstering the detachment. Make them sus 1, make them sus 2 on the wall. right? So there's going to be one unit that's going to get the sus 2 in the wall with the stratagem. That should be part of the detachment itself, but it should be sus 1 just like Warhorde. It shouldn't be sus 2, man. That's just crazy, especially when you start putting that on to flash kits, right? Like, I only have 12 flash kits. I'm sorry, 12 tank busters. And those tank busters just 8 shots turning into 16 shots, 24 shots. It's just crazy.
See, here's my question, though, right? What do you do if you're on Search and Destroy and you go second into a Warhorde army and all of a sudden there's just 30 Beast Snagga boys up in your business, wrapping your vehicles, tagging all your stuff, and you didn't take the fallback and shoot enhancement because it's the worst of the 4.
Then you get screwed.
Yeah, like, and like they're not the only ones who can do that. Wolf jail sounds like a death sentence for this army. So I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, there is armies that can be its yang to its yang, right? But it's so powerful, man. It really is.
Yeah, no, 100%. Orks being a shooting army has always been a problem.
It's always been. We had buggy spams. Buggy spam didn't help.
I get GW really wants Orcs shoot like the quirky, mathematical spiking of Orcs shooting to work, but they always swing way too hard into the spike.
Yep.
Oh yeah, looters need to go up anyway. They need to be like 130. How they're 100, I'll never know. That is 10 points for a T5 2-wound model. 10 of them?
No, looters are 1 wound.
Oh really? Thought they were 2. Okay.
Nah, tank busters are 2 wounds.
That's still 10.
6 models, 130 points.
Looters are still T1 or 1 wound T5 models for 10 of them with a gun.
Yeah, 10 points each.
That inherently have full rerolls. Ooh, it's only a throw on an objective. Are they playing Warhammer? Do you want to kill them from playing Warhammer? They're going to be on an objective.
Yep.
If you want to shoot something not on an objective, shoot the tank buses at them.
9 out of 10 times it's going to be on an objective, yeah.
Or the flash kits. The flash kits too, because you just don't care.
Well, flash kits hit better.
Yeah.
Flash kits hit on 5s, looters hit on 6s. I mean, the mech in the squad for looters hits on 5s, but who cares?
Yeah. But I'm sure we'll come back to them. There's been a lot of changes since our last episode.
Tons of changes, man. Tons of changes. The new data slate came in. The EC dropped on the box set.
That's
another thing, right? I wanted to talk to you about. Everybody's concerned about Dakka. Everybody's concerned about Orks, but they're leaving out what could potentially be toxic out there too. Is maybe Guard, maybe EC when they drop as well. Like, there's going to be a lot you need, right? Like, Yanari's still not gone.
That was the one I wanted to talk about. Like, how
is that? It's just that lurk. Is it just lurking in the shadows, waiting for this more Dakka to get nerfed? But yeah,
the the biggest nerf was on Azerman, of all things, for them. Like, yeah, some units got touched here or there, but like, it's like, all right, you drop, you downgrade a squad here, you just drop this extra scout squad or something, whatever. But like, how the Unid stratagem, how in a fight first, basically an entire army didn't get changed, I'll never know. Awesome name, by the way.
Mech Soul. So they're going to increase the points of looters. They're going to do that regardless. And basically, yes, they're going to be garbage because they're only ballista skill 6.
Yep.
Which is just trash. It's just trash. That's where they're 100 points now. But they're going to increase the points regardless. I mean, yeah, I think they have some use in, like, mech, like Dread Mafia, as I like to call it. Tactical Brigade is just dead. Like, they absolutely killed that one. So you can't use that one. But I mean, Dread Mobs, they're still really good. They still get a small little glow up, but not in comparison. So, yeah, nobody's going to use them. But they already did what they wanted to do anyways. They wanted to sell a bunch of looters. So everybody bought into 30 looters. right? And then they nerf it a week later. You can't use it. And that nerf hammer is not coming into after Adepticon anyway. So
and Big Mac with shock attack gun.
He just went up.
No, but they definitely. I bet you they sold a bunch of them too.
Oh yeah. But see, that's the thing too. Can you find things on their website? Like they just dropped the Breaker Boys, the Wrecker Crew, the box set from Kill Team for the Orks, and it sold out in like no time.
Yeah,
I
went on to price out some models for Tyranids, and there's like, oh, notify me when available. I'm like, what? It was Broodlord. It wasn't even like a high end, super the in demand model. And I'm like, how is this sold out? But Tom did say, didn't they finish first, second, and third in 2 super majors? And they did. And
exactly what we were going to talk about. Yeah, we were going to talk about that too. Go ahead.
We were talking, and I pointed to all you Ork people who are either fans of this because it's your time in the sun, which fair enough, we all do it. Tyranids had Crusher Stampede and then Leviathan nonsense in 9th. I will point you to Slaanesh Legion of Excess this past pass. And I will tell you, Legion of Excess was not as strong as this is. And look what they did to that. Now the only time you're going to see Slaanesh Demons is like a splash of Seekers in a Demons list. Or if Brave Souls run around the Allied detachment with Seekers and Demonettes in the Emperor's Children Codex. You are no longer going to see solo Tyranids. Or solo Slaanesh. Sorry, I was just reading Kenneth's thing there, Xenos Petting Zoo. That's awesome. But, this is going to almost certainly be kicked in the teeth, a la Bringers of Flame, and then, brought back in like 2 or 3 months.
Yep, or the next edition.
Unfortunately, Mech Soul, that is not what they do. They nerf the entire army, units, points, and detachment rule, and then come back, like I said a few months ago, oops, maybe we overcorrected. Let's give you one thing back and see how it works out.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're saying is that it should be nerfed, but it shouldn't go, the points shouldn't get crazy. Like, Eldar shouldn't go up more in points. Orcs shouldn't go up more in points. That would just render them so useless in other detachments.
What up, Dustin? Is this Dustin Hammond or a different Dustin?
I think this Hammond.
Congrats, man! I was following you at the event round by round, and I'm like, man, he's out here making a bad name for Imperial Knights. All the people who are they're not meta relevant, just proving haters wrong left and right.
We're going to talk about him too later in the show about how, first of all, Grand Onslaught 9 just happened a couple weeks ago, and Orks didn't even crack the top 39. So, and I did allow the new more Dakka. So yeah, congratulations to Dustin, and we'll talk about him a little bit later and what exactly he was running. But speaking of coming in first, second, and third, going back to that point, talking about Orks. So at Rocky Mountain Open 2025, that's the FLG event, Zach Point, Ben Jurek, and Michael Mann all took first, second, and third with Orks. More Dakka Orks at that. All went defeated. And then Tyranids and Space Marines.
I will point out that the first player doesn't have a single 100, so not OP. Everyone's overreacting. See, they can't.
Not a single one. But his strength of schedule was a lot stronger.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. Although I will say though, for your event, I do think that because it was so soon, I'm willing to bet it was just hobby lag. People didn't have the 30 Ludas and 50 or 18 tank bustas and 3 big Mech with shock attack guns and probably 6 trucks if they're a long-term Ork player, but all this stuff to come together to really push the meta list we're seeing now come out and win events.
No, I agree that had to do, that had some effect on it. But I mean, it's easy to borrow from your friend 30 Ludas, 3 mechs, and be like, hey man, I'm going to this GT. that doesn't require painting, let me borrow it real quick, right? Or print this out for me. I mean, obviously that was definitely a factor in that, but we always talk about this every single show. There's different levels to this, man. Like, there are people who can use the army and be super effective with it. There are people who can't. People try to pick up on John Lennon's Space Marine army, the Ultramarines.
Yep.
And I told him at the event too, because he was at the event. He came in second. And I was like, you're the only one that can perform very well with this list. It's just above mediocre. You know what I'm saying? It's very strong. It's strong, but it's not very strong or OP or anything like that.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you how to play. You have to actually pilot it.
Exactly.
With
that being said, with the Orks, like, I've played them 3 times already. I've manned the ship, and it's not that easy just to sit there and have a bunch of t-shirt wearing dudes survive throughout the game, because it's very easy to kill 30 guys. They just have t-shirts, not in the wall, right? No, if you give them no cover AP1, you're just killing them all, and they're 1 wound models as well.
Yep.
So they're very easy to kill. That's just same thing with Eldari. We've talked about this endlessly, right? Eldari is so easy to clean up, to destroy. They're the epitome of a glass spear. They hit you hard, but they'll die in return so fast, right? So Orks are the same way. I get it. I'm not trying to justify why they're broken and stuff like that. I'm just saying that they can die very easily.
Well,
and you can't man the ship if you're not a good player.
The problem with Orks, specifically this one, isn't that they do damage. That's not the problem, because all the other armies we named, Eldar included, do damage, but like you said, they're so brittle they can't actually score points or hold. And the problem with Orks is, alongside your 18 tank bustas and 24 ludas and whatever else, you have like 6 trucks and a unit of storm boys, and that's like not half your army maybe. And that's the real problem. Is Orks are a stuff army that puts out damage like an elite low model count army.
Yeah.
Now again, they have weaknesses. The main one, like, I'm looking to exploit, is their speed and lack of mobility. Like, I can reduce my lone op to 6 inches, and even if I can't, I have a 6-inch reactive move you get within 9. I'll just move out of your range or out of line of sight, and then you're done. You're just there now. You've committed to moving, and I'll come charge you with G. Like, I'll come to you. Don't worry about it. So, and not every army can do that, but a lot of them can. A lot of armies at this point in the game have reactive moves, have devastating overwatches. Oh my god. So, like, a unit of warp spiders, I believe, does very unkind things to any of these units we're talking about for Orks on the Overwatch.
And indirect fire and guard, right? Like, guard, it's a bad matchup. A lot of good matchups a lot of these players ended up having over their weekend. Advantageous to them. Right?
I do love Xenos petting. But yeah, no, actually, just a quick aside, Dustin, if you're still watching, I'm actually going to message you later on. I've been meaning to, but I was recovering over the weekend from a tooth thing. But I'm going to get with you about getting the game in. Johnny G, welcome with the WA. I don't know who you are, but
that smoke. You hear that, Dustin? He wants all that smoke.
I do.
Dustin is at Georgia. So good luck on that game.
Yes, TTS. We've spoken before.
There you go. Or TTS. There you go. That is one way to circumvent the real life gaming.
I'll have you know we're Discord friends. Thank you very much.
We became best friends on Discord.
Been blessed by Gork and Morg is not a crime. Well, you know,
I was just reading that too.
There are some local inquisitors who may have a different opinion on that.
I'm going to need you orc enthusiasts, right? Like the video for the wall. Whoa! That's going to be the last time you hear it. Next time you hear it coming out of the Orks, it's going to sound like a git because they're going to get stomped so bad.
What's gonna happen is they're gonna nerf it. They're gonna nerf the infantry portion of it, so you're just gonna see like I don't know 9 kilocans and like a Gorkanaut.
Sustain 2 on bikes.
Ooh. Oh yeah, all those strength 4, 5, 0 AP 1 damage guns.
Next week you just see 18 bikes. Orks.
What is Johnny G saying here? Sustain 2 on KOS. I don't know what KOS is. What orc unit is that?
KOS. KOS. Sounds familiar. Call to Speed.
Oh, Call to Speed. Okay, what you were saying, bikes.
Yes.
I don't know bike profiles, but maybe.
I mean, shit, we'd be right back into like the buggy spam. Like
oh no, do not. Do not.
I mean, yeah, I think it would be amazing on them. It definitely would fix them. But I think we would end up having the same issue. We wouldn't have the spamming of multiple of the same buggies and things like that because we can't do that anymore like we used to.
Yeah, they said no more squadroning up.
Yeah, no more 3. Yeah, just rucket trucks in one squad, right? So I think that would break them. I think that would definitely make them strong.
Sus 2 as an army rule, like just to give you context, for the only other Sus 2 armor rule in the game is Caillou and Tau that only works turns 3, 4, and 5 unless you have an enhancement on one character in one unit, that then it works on turn 2. And you need another unit to guide that unit to get to the sustain 2.
Yep.
You have hoops upon hoops to jump through just to give best case scenario half of your activating army this rule. That is how good, and that is still like that was the index Tau, and yes, it was one of the have-nots of the beginning index era edition. But even still, its win rate wasn't outside of the Goldilocks zone for a long time. Like once people that dedicated the Tau learned it, like you were saying, becoming faction masters, Caillou was terrifying.
Yep.
It
was.
And even now, I personally think it's the second best way. I think Montcalm is stronger, but lethal hit crit 5s in the first 3 rounds versus sustained 1 or 2 in the second 3 rounds. Really, it's just a player preference.
Yeah, but it's different, right? Like, I mean, in Orks, with the amount of 10-point models you have, you could do it with. It's just crazy.
Well, so and like you always say, we try to compare apples to oranges. I was just saying as a reference for sustain 2 as a flat army rule, just on demand whenever you want it, would be insane. Like Votan would literally kill someone for this.
Everybody would want that. Everybody but world eaters.
Tyranids, we wouldn't want it.
Tyranids don't want it.
Like as good as Exocrines are, that's not enough of a firing base to give sustain 2 to Tyranids.
Yeah, but you take Exocrines and you take Tyranid warriors with guns, and
no, you wouldn't.
You take Gaunt. Dude, somebody would break that immediately because you'd probably take 120 Gaunts.
You take 18 Zone Thropes, 3 Exocrines, couple Terran effects, and it still would be like, okay, it'd be fine. I promise you. I promise you. I know that Tyranids are so aggressively okay. It's actually quite funny.
I think sustain 2 just bumps up any army.
Yeah, imagine Warhorde was sustain 2 in melee.
Oh yeah, that would be freaking disgusting.
like it's the same thing on the opposite side. Or World Eaters, Imagine they were sustain 1 unless you had the Corn Blood table, and now they're sustain 2. Why
That'd be great. 48 attacks, sustain 2. Here we go. Berserkers are back for real.
Angron would no longer be debatably optional. He'd be in there.
Every single time.
For the record, he is not debatably optional in Berserker Wargame Band. Some people just say he is because they want to be different.
Correct. And speaking of which, they won a GT over the weekend as well.
They did. And I don't even think it was Berserker Warband. I think it was the other one, wasn't it? I think it was Vessels of Wrath.
No, it was Berserker Warband because He had the same list that I won with at DreamHack.
Okay.
Or sorry, not DreamHack, but where we went, where we
Gateway Open.
Yep, Gateway Open. He had the same list. The only thing he had was 2 more spawn, and he had a cheaper Juggernaut because they dropped 20 points. So he had the Corn Lord of Skulls and everything. He won a GT with it.
Yeah. Getting to all this dust thing, I like how it's 2 Astra Militarum and a Space Wolf, which I bet is Wolf Jail Stormlance, ahead of the Orks thing.
And just to show everybody, right? So this is another event, another GT that happened over the weekend. This was not an Ork winner, not even in the top 3, right? So
the name and it also being all lowercase is just, I don't know, man. It
How many does he have? He's got to have 3. No, he's got 2 only. So he's got 2 Dorn commanders. He's got a priest and Ursula, of course, because she got a glow up. 2 Toroxes, because Toroxes are absolutely amazing.
Some reason didn't go up.
Yep, absolutely amazing.
They scout
Still
famously.
Good. Yep. Hellhounds, 2 of them.
Are they fun? Are they flame? Yep, heavy flamer and inferno cannons.
2 battle cannons, or battle tanks. 2 ratlings. Oh, look, another Dorn.
Well, there is like 2 tank commanders and a Dorn.
There's yeah.
Ratlings infiltrate for those. Ratlings infiltrate and reactive or shoot and scoot. That's what they do.
Scoot. And scouts, sentinels be scouting.
Scout and improve one thing that they fire at for the rest of your army to shoot as well.
Yep.
So this is just a lot of upboard pressure. And a withering amount of firepower. Like if this goes first into an Ork army, half your Ork army is just not going to be there.
Dude, a Dorn shoots more than a Baneblade.
Yes. Yes.
It's crazy. And then we had a Space Wolf winner too. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're right. I have zero respect for Dorns because they shoot a lot and a lot of it just bounces. But let me tell you, when they don't bounce, it hurts. God, look at those characters. Someone just begging for a stat. I just want to say, I love that we're at a point in the meta where so many people pretend like they're so fixed on tactical that they don't even realize fix is a thing. Like, I've taken fix assassinate to someone who had 7-8 characters.
Yeah.
And they're like, what if I just don't use them? I'm like, are you not going to put them in the squad? You're like, no, I am. I'm like, cool. Then that's what I thought. You're not going to take Azrael and not put him in the squad. You're not going to take a Judiciar and not put him in the Inner Circle Companions. Let's go.
JPIs, of course. He's got 5 and 5 JPIs. He's got Blade Guard.
Blade Guard got to glow up too.
They got to glow up or go up?
They got a buff.
Yeah. Absolutely. They got to glow up. Yep.
Scout. And then only 12 Thunderwolf crap. He probably took out a squad to make room for those scouts in that Blade Guard squad.
For the Blade Guard squad, I'm assuming, yeah.
Well, he'd still be.
Of course.
Yep, and those are just stock standard. Those are really good.
And then the Impulsor. So yeah, just a standard
Impulsor for the Blade Guard. Yep. And with enough characters to go in every single one of those that isn't a vehicle.
Yep.
And what was this? Was this Stormlance? Which one was this?
This is Stormlance.
Stormlance, yep. So you throw in the Wolf Squads turn 1, and then you follow it up with Vindicator ready to shoot, and Blade Guard and Impulsor ready to come out in the aftermath, and also JPI swinging on the flanks.
Yep. Yeah, no, Tom, we know it was banned in where it's potentially going to be banned in Germany, and then it is banned in Austria.
Well, not in all of them. There is an event. There is an event in Germany that already put out. It's banned in the player pack or whatever it's called. So not
is that the Loben one?
Maybe I don't remember the name. I just know that it was an event specifically, not the whole country.
Yeah, that was the Alpine. That's the Alpine one.
Yep.
That's the Alpine one. Yeah, Alpine is banned. Another one they're thinking about banning it, and Austria is banned as well. People have been asking me all week too. They're like, "Are you going to ban it?" I'm like, at my events, I think that it's going to get bad touch before the first Saturday of next month.
Here's the problem with banning it, and I get why it's a hard position for people like you TOs to create a healthy, fun, positive thinking environment for. But on the flip side, if GW doesn't see the damage these things do, it's going to take that much longer to change.
Yep.
So unfortunately, we're all at the mercy of having to just swallow the bitter pill of these of OP armies existing. Devoted if you need, again, still there. People have just seemed to have forgotten about, and they've gone nowhere. Someone
who's worse. There's someone who's worse right now. The big bad boogeyman is more Dakka.
I don't think so, honestly. I can think of counters for the Ork list for devoted if you need, where you just swung and didn't kill something. And now they have fights first, or a thing you did kill someone and it blew up and chipped a wound, and they fight first when you were going to charge them. And the reactive moves to set up heroic interventions, move blocks, extra scoring.
You have a disdain. You have a disdain for Yunari, don't you?
No. You know what the counter is? The only counter I've thought of for that army is A, just be world eaters and oops, your rule doesn't matter.
Yep.
Or B, well, there's 3 solutions, but the third one's not a real solution. It's just a kind of a last-ditch bailout. The second one is just battle shock as many things as you can, which 2 armies can reliably do, which is Chaos Knights and Tyranids. I guess technically Nurgle Demons could try it too now. And the last one is just all in your army and to prevent them from moving. But so many things that they have fly that's not a real plan either. Wolf Jail only works on armies that can't fly. Once you can fly, they're just coming to your side of the board to get wrecked.
Yep.
So, whereas with Orks, again, it's reactive moves. It's you can move block an Orks army. Would it Storm Boys, Def Coptas, and the airplanes, and that's all your flyers?
Yeah. No,
and the Storm Boy and Captain Badrock. There you go. there's your flyers.
We want him back. Yeah, you can't shoot them, can't do anything into them. You actually did end up going into Yunari, and let's go ahead and talk about that real quickly.
Oh, so I love his list.
So once again, it was a very, very good list. I was very happy to see him perform the way that he ended up performing and just taking it off. So this was my GT a week and a half ago. About a week and a half ago, roughly. Dustin Hammond. Huh?
You see that perfect 100 that Ork player who came in first didn't get? That's the power of Imperial Knights. Nerf, please.
And that was Admech, too. So he played into Admech. And that's another thing, too. Knights are so strong right now. People are sleeping on them. People are not complaining about them. And then he got 85 points into Yunari.
Knights are an army that I think really reward faction devotion, because you have to be so. This is definitely not Yunari, although Biosynthetic Brood Surge is terrifying for a Knight player with the amount of damage they can pump out. Good job to you.
Yep. That was his third game.
But I do think that the more you can prioritize your movement, get precise with it, prioritize your shooting, maximize your tank shocks and your other, what few things you can leverage as such an elite army, the more exponential your reward will be for doing that. Where'd the dogs go?
And then he ended up playing against Grey Knights and then Demons at the end. And I want to say Demons had 2 GUOs.
If there's anyone I trust to kill them, it is certainly Knights, because boy howdy, is their damage really all or nothing. Yep. Also, autocannons are hilarious into Demons because AP1 means nothing and flat 3 damage means everything.
Means everything. Absolutely everything. So on the Dustin Hammond winning list at Grand Onslaught 9, he took first place overall. He had Canis Rex. He had 4 Helvrins and 4 Warglaives, 6 Warglaives. 2 Assassins, 1 Calexis, 1 Calidus.
Which didn't have to stay that way. I believe, according to their rule, you can change them out for an equal point assassin or lesser. So depending on the matchup, he could switch those two assassins to, you know, the one who infiltrates or the sniper, if you want that one. I doubt the Calidus ever changed, but he did have the options. It is worth noting.
Yeah, he had 3 great unclean ones. Wow.
You dusted all 3 of them, didn't you? Between Canis, the Armiger's, and your melee with the Chain Cleaver.
Dustin.
Well, and the Thermal Spear. The Thermal Spear is a Knight Melta. Like, don't forget that either.
Dustin, did you have to keep the allied units, or could you select different ones? I believe you have to stick with them, right? I don't know.
Oh, I thought per the new thing you could switch them
maybe
out.
you could
Whoever's with I thought it was they have to be the same points or lesser, so you take the most expensive ones, so you can trade down if you have to, because you can't trade up. You can't take a low point assassin and go, oops, I need the good one now, and go up in points. I don't know that may be only if you're running Imperial Agents, the faction. It might not be for allies.
Yeah, he says he can't
only an IA. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, those are the two better ones, because I believe the Calexis is the Infiltrator and the Calidus is the uppy down Vect one.
Yeah.
And
in IG you can do it, or IA you can do it, but yeah, once you select them, that's what you pay it into.
Well, an Infiltrator and a Teleporter around to score secondaries is certainly not something Knights are going to complain about.
It's just nice, right? And I know we're going to kill this horse, and keep on kicking it, but more Dakka is obviously reigning right now, but then, we have Yunari, but it's nice to see Knights doing well. It's nice to see Guard doing well. You see Space Wolves win a few GTs as well. Like we were saying earlier, World Leaders won a GT over the weekend. I think, minus more Dakka, I think there's some good balance in the game right now. I think there's some outliers, obviously, but that goes back to a lot of people are going to jump on the more Dakka train as soon as they see something broken. So all the great players in the world are just going to jump on it, right? That's exactly what they do. The meta chasers are going to meta chase. They're going to grab that army. They're going to win at an FLG event, a super major that's over 200 people, just so you can have that accolade in your life, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it goes away and it's null void, right? Like, you don't say 3 years from now, hey, you won FLG event, top or Rocky Top, and because you had a broken army, you're not really that good. You still won that event. You still won the prizes. You still have all of that.
Yep. There's
He played Orks over the weekend and went 7-0. He went 7-0 over the weekend.
I've said it on this show before, I firmly believe everyone plays this game for their own reasons. Some people do just like to glory chase and have the means and patience to collect the strongest thing, get it built in a week or two, go to a GT and stomp face. Yep. That is not to take away from the kind of player they are, because I can tell you can put a broken army in my hands, and I will play more Dakka. I almost had less Dakka because you're freaking tag. I will play that worse than I play my Tyrians right now, because I don't know. I'm so keyed into doing what my army does. Hopping over would actually make me a worse player. Better rules, but rules I'm not used to.
Yep. And then there's an alternate spectrum to that as well, right? You play into people not knowing what you have. So let's say, like myself, I'm an Ork enthusiast, right? Mm-hmm. I play my Orks. I understand Orks. I understand Ork units. I go into a player who's never played against Orks, and now it really becomes a one-sided game, right? Because not only do they not understand my strategies and tactics potentially, they don't understand my army, so they don't know what to do against it. They don't know how to stage and how to position and how to deploy against it. And people use that as a literal tactic. People go to events and will straight up tell me, I'm going to play this list because people don't understand it. Use it as a tactic. So they use ignorance as an advantage for them to go to those events.
Every GSC or AdMech player spends 10 more minutes ahead of their game than anyone else does. because they got to sit there and tell you what their army does, and it is a just 5-page dissertation before you start deploying.
Yep. No, and you're right, Tom. Like, we all want to just play and enjoy our armies, but just like Regal is saying, people do it for different reasons.
Yep.
People do it for hobbying. Some people just play this game for hobbying. They just want to win best paint. They just want to paint their stuff and throw it on the board and play with their friends.
That's called cunning. Now, I will say, as long as those people are willing to, be a pro sport about it and say, hey, these are my rules. Because it happens to me. I play Ryan Cruz. We've evolved into Orks.
Orks now.
That's what the Dakka is for. Ork evolution.
Enjoy your more Dakka, Ryan, for the time being, buddy. Because
a good example is you need, right? You can tell your opponent, hey, if you kill something in my shooting phase, I get to move something else. And then they know it's not a gotcha. They know it's coming. It doesn't stop how devastating it's going to be when that actually hits them 5 turns in a row. Like you can tell someone I have sustained 2 on all my shots anytime I fire my infantry and mechanized units. That's not going to prepare them for the amount of devastation they got coming downfield.
Nope.
They're like, oh, you hit on 6s, reroll 1s, 4 rolls on an objective. It's fine. Like, cool, 20 shots, 36 hits. You're like, hold on a second, what the just happened? Like,
you're slightly off the math a little bit. Just saying, it's 20 shots, 60 hits.
You're rolling those 2024 Crucible dice, I see.
Exactly. And Ryan, it's not my fault, and it's not Regal's fault. This is GW, man. Look, man, the only reason GW did this was a marketing ploy. It's gotta be. There's no reason to even create a detachment. This busted. I mean, look, Stevie Wonder could see this detachment and be like, this shit is broken.
I actually told the day that this all dropped, I told a good friend of ours, I'll name drop him, he don't care, Brian, because he's talking about Tactical Brigade got nerfed, and I'm like, look, Tactical Brigade isn't dead because it got nerfed. Tactical Brigade is dead because GW wanted you to stop playing Tactical Brigade and go play this one.
Yes.
They're like, no competition, go to this one now.
Buy 30 looters, 3 mechs, get you over the weekend 18 tank busters that were $65 a box set, right? There you go.
My favorite variant are the ones that have 20 Beast Boys and 2 Beast Bosses, because after Gretchen Jail is gone, which we haven't even talked about Gretchen Jail. Let's just move on past that. You get to put.
Oh, that's just Zagrod.
No, it's Zagrod and 22 Gretchen.
20 to be technical is 20 of them and 2 runt herds, but yes, I understand.
That are 6 more inches to move, can advance and charge, -1 to wound, 5 up invul. No, it's fine. Everyone who got rid of their 6-man plasma and scepter bricks are crying. They're in shambles right now.
Yep. I believe the rules just need to be flipped. They always have assault, and the wall gets sustained 2 CP, 2 wall strat done. I guess. I mean, you can make the wall 1 2 CP. I mean, I haven't heard it better from anyone else other than it should be sustained 1s. It should be sustained 2s in the wall army wide. Sustain 2 for that unit that can pay the 2 CP for that wall. Other than that, just go to sustain 1s. I mean, okay, you hit 6 times now with looters. It turns into 12 shots. Full rerolls. I mean, that's the life they should be in. That's the realm they should be living in.
The wall strat should stay 1 CP, but only affect the units that attachment roll affects. You shouldn't be able to put anything into the wall. Only infantry or mechanized. Infantry orc units specifically. Get rid of the Gretchen thing. That is 100% unintentional and very egregious.
Well, the busted stuff is the infantry though.
Sure.
It's not like it's a stomper. I mean, a
all the-
stomper is amazing with sus too.
But here,
But I mean,
all the wall is giving your infantry is a 5-up invuln and assault. Because sure, theoretically you're giving them +1 strength, but you're like, sure, you could charge looters in with +1 strength and, you know, finish off a straggling unit. You were probably going to do that anyway without the wall. The Gretchen thing, like turn 1 Gretchen jail is because he also gives them like what, Scout 9?
Zagrod, yeah.
So like Scout 9, 12-inch move, advance and charge, turn 1 with 22 bodies, a 5-up invuln, -1 to wound.
Yep. I mean, that's what I did my first 2 games. Zagrod took advantage of that stratagem, and he walled turn 1. Both games.
My solution is super simple. 2 lictors, 9 inches from your deployment zone. Spread out just far enough that you can't get your break into me. You gotta charge the lictors who fight first. Precision Zagrod. Bye.
Bye.
And then like, all right, cool. Now you're on your half of the board. Again, this is tyranny privilege. I admit that. And I've put way too much thought into this because that's how you win games, folks. You can, and no offense to anyone, sit around and doom and gloom about how broken it is and you're just going to lose. Or you hunker down and start looking for solutions until the nerf comes.
Yep.
And
Todd is a Chad, man. He's amazing. And before we continue, Regal, we're going to pay the bills real quick. We're going to jump to a big commercial break or a quick commercial break. It's going to take us 1 minute. We'll be right back. And me and Regal will continue to fill up our cups of tears for all of you individuals. All of the people crying.
I have more opinions on just orcs, by the way. There is more to talk about, folks.
There's more to talk about. Definitely more. Especially Yanari. Give us 1 second. We'll be right back. Welcome to Big Bear 3D, your ultimate destination for top quality terrain and weapon props. Whether you're setting the stage for your next epic battle or enhancing your collection, Big Bear 3D has you covered. Don't forget to scan the QR code to explore our full range and bring the event home with you. Happy gaming! Big Bear 3D is excited to collaborate with Away Games, bringing top-tier competitive experiences to events across North America with our adaptable, modular event tables. The Away Games event table, official for the American Team Championship and standard for the National Tabletop League, can now bring the event home. Pick up the Away Games 2024 event table to replicate any layout featured in ATC or NTL circuit events. Big Bear 3D is thrilled to offer sci-fi weapon props and raw part kits, printed in PLA plastic with all necessary assembly hardware included. We've also partnered with Hobby Goblins to provide assembled and painted prop kits for our customers. And don't forget, bring the event home with you. Shout out to Big Bear. Love that guy. He is an absolute community just champion, big community champion. He's always looking out for tournament organizers. I know he just ended up sending me like this He-Man Grayskull sword. He just sent me over the weekend. I have not assembled it yet, but it looks absolutely amazing. I also have a chain sword from him. So shout out to Big Bear, man. Keep doing what you do. Your props are absolutely amazing. And hopefully you continue to flourish throughout the years, man. And he is the in-house 3D guy guru, as I like to call him. He does everything 3D in the state of Florida. So go check him out. Check out his website and get some discounts.
So yeah, speaking of other detachments that totally exist that got overlooked, that new Tau Cadre one, huh? That one is the complete opposite end of this one, as far as like it's a great introduction to Tau with easy hoops to jump through that give the army a bit more power, but not we're gonna wreck your world in 2 turns level of power.
Yeah.
Like I got a buddy of mine who I've talked into running his Storm Surge. Just because plus 6 inches with heavy on all, or +1 to hit if you don't move, and being guided on all his guns is just funny. Like, why not?
I don't think Tau is bad right now. I just think Tau takes a particular pilot, right? And they're not an easy army to play right now in this meta, anyways. So they're not the best shooting army. They don't do melee really, even though I've been seeing a lot of people use their recruits to come out there and do melee and stuff like that. I always forget the name of those little monsters that are 5
Rampagers. Rampagers do melee decently well, actually.
They do, man, and they create a different dichotomy for the army, right? Because they actually have some melee with that unit.
Yep.
So it creates some pressure for that army. I think people are just going to have to get used to it. More people, obviously, a lot of good, the amazing pilots are not playing Tau right now because they don't see that it's broken. I think it's still really good. I had a guy from Lakeland. Ryan knows him. His name is Rad. He's absolutely wonderful individual, including Ryan himself. But he had a killer Tau list that he played against me. And I really liked the list. Like, I was really shocked to see Tau do that well. But I think a lot of it was based on the pilot and the way that he was using that army as well. He likes to apply a lot of pressure, and he understands shooting for Tau. So I think he performed very well with that. But with that being said, we have, what is it, the Legion, the Shadow Legion.
Yep.
Which is another army, right, that's been performing very well, has been a sleeper in the community. Be'lakor is absolutely an auto-include in that detachment. He's just absolutely nasty. And you end up taking him with what? You're more of a Chaos Demons enthusiast. So what do you take with the Shadow Legion and how that's performing right now?
You take, because Be'lakor gets dark packs that he auto passes a la the Chaos Space Marine rule. Not all demons, just Be'lakor. So you give him sustained or lethal with 0 chance of failing it. Also, he got a toughness bump to T11 from T10, which he always should have been. And he got an aura that you never took, replaced with an aura that you're pretty much going to take from turn 2, possibly 3 onwards, which is a 6-inch aura of reroll 1s to hit. Aside of you can take no
all
other
ones? All ones?
1s to hit.
Oh, to hit. Got it.
Aside from that, you take you can't take any other named characters. It's a rule of the detachment. Be'lakor is very jealous, so no Scarbrand, no Shalaxi, not that you would anyway, none of that. But you can take greater demons, the generics. So you take a great old one, just because they're T13 and have an aura of +1 toughness now. You take a number of Nurglings because they went back down to 35 points because they got their 6-inch aura of -1 to hit nerf to engagement range only. But also they're like T5 now near a great old one, I think, because they're T4 before.
Mm-hmm.
So, yin and yang. You take a Bloodthirster or 2. You give I think it's a scouting enhancement to the great old one, or a Bloodthirster if you want to get the game started faster. And you give once I kill something, I go back into reserves to a Bloodthirster or a Redmaster on Bloodthrone. Like I said, you take 1 or 2 Bloodthirsters, you take 2 Bloodmaster on Redmaster on Bloodthrones. Each god gets their own kind of cool rule.
Yep.
Nurgle gets -1 to wound if strength is higher. Tzeentch, I believe, gets -1 to hit. Khorne gets advance in charge, which is why you're hearing so many Khorne units. Slaanesh gets something I forget because I promise you it doesn't matter. I think it's fallback in charge, but you're not taking
Fight first?
No, God, I wish. No, I don't think so.
That would be nice.
Slaanesh is dead and buried. I've built some test lists, and I can tell you it's not good. We're gonna move on. You don't worry about Slaanesh. They're not gonna be you. Oh, sorry. You might take a unit of 5 Seekers. They didn't get touched, and their role of early game, screen, score, go out and do something, move block still very much exists. They move 14, scout 9, reroll advances and charges. Don't advance natively, but 9-inch scout, 14-inch move with the reroll advance is pretty fast. Past that, you take some. You can take some Tzeentch units if you want, like Flamers are still pretty good because they natively fall back and shoot. And then you can take the big gimmick of this list, other than Be'lakor, is you can take up to 1,000 points of Chaos Space Marines. So you can take things like Legionnaires with the Lord, because there are some enhancements I believe you can put on them that you can give them the infiltrate. There's only certain Space Marine things you can take. You can take damned units, Legionnaires, Chosen, which I think are damned anyway. But like you can have the brick of AC/DC is back. You can have that scout up into a ruin and then just move, and then Blood Surge forward if they get shot. There's been talk of what are the shooting guys that are like not Devastators, that's Loyalist Marines.
Havoc.
Havocs, yeah, Havocs and or Obliterators, just for some firepower, which is always good. So you heavily lean into Khorne Demons with a little bit of Great Old One durability support. A unit of Plague Bearers is never going to steer you wrong with that sticky objective. And just for those of you not keeping track, T6 next to a Great Old One with -1 to wound if you're strength 7 or higher. Good luck. Yeah, Dustin, Havoc. That's what I was thinking of. Thank you. So yeah, it's this mix of MSU Chaos Space Marine melee with big monster smash face with Rendmaster support of bumping. Oh, and Blood Crushers as well. Even though they're invulnerable into a 5-up from a 4-up, they're still not nothing with a Rendmaster behind them. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that. Not a whole lot of Tzeentchian stuff going on, other than, like I said, the Flamers. And like a 0 Slanesh presence, other than maybe Seekers. But yeah,
I've seen the Monster Mash mostly. It's been the Bird, Great Unclean Ones, yeah.
2 Great Unclean Ones, 2 to 3 Bloodthirsters, Be'lakor, and then like some like Plague Bearers and what are they called? Nurglings.
Nurglings, yeah.
Because Nurglings, they infiltrate, so you can put your scout. You can pre-measure, and this is why emphasizing being a good player is better than having a broken army. Because what you can do is infiltrate this fat demon 9 inches, pre-measure 14.9, and just put a unit of 9 Nurglings for 105 points that are now T5 and just stretched out. So your 6-inch Orks is barely touching one of them, and now you're just move blocked and screened by these OC0 4-wound, I believe 6-up Filnopan. I don't know if they still have that or not. But even without it, that's almost as bad as Wolf Jail.
It can be, yeah. Especially you could take 30 of them, 40, something like some crazy.
You can take 27. You can take 3 units of 9. No. I'm sorry. They're a battle line. You can take 6 units of 9. You can take 56 Nurglings. And 100. For those of you again who's not too math acquainted, that is only 645 points of your army. So that guy plus the Great Unclean One with the enhancement is 1,000 points even. That is a lot of move blocking, because you just put one of them 9 inches from your opponent's deployment zone, another one behind a ruin to follow up that move block, and another one, like I said, within 6 inches of your scouting Great Unclean One. Your opponent is going nowhere for 3 turns.
Yep.
And even if they have fly, it's all Bloodthirsters and Be'lakor who can fly themselves.
Yep.
So, and that's not even to mention your Space Marine stuff, because the Chaos Lord still has all of its Chaos Lord rules, and I do believe that this detachment, like the whatever it's called, Unholy Chosen or whatever it is in CSM, Be'lakor as well as the Chaos Space Marines can pact still. So your Havocs can pact, your Chaos Lord with 5 Legionaries can pact. So like the hard hittingness of Chaos Space Marines hasn't gone anywhere. Oh, how could I forget? The stratagems. There's 6 of them, of course. 4 of them are God dependent. The only one that matters is the Khorne one, where if you use it, you get Lance. And if you're a Khorne unit, you're Lance and +1 AP. So you can have a Bloodthirster charge in, Rendmaster and Bloodthroat boosted, have an AP3 flat 3 damage. Sorry, AP4 flat 3 damage I believe it is 12 attack sweep with +1 to wound. Goodbye, Deathwing Knights.
Yes.
hitting on twos, because the Bloodthirster aura is a 6-inch aura of +1 to hit for all Khorne demons, including himself, because he's within 6 inches of himself. And Be'lakor gives him reroll 1s within 6. So hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s lands +2 AP, +1 damage.
Yeah, that's gross.
Don't ask about his strike. You're not getting a save. You don't have an invuln. That's D6 +3 AP 6. +1 to wound at strength like 12 or 14. It's just, he just takes knights and just chucks them into the stratosphere.
I've been seeing people take Scarbrand too.
You can't take Scarbrand in that detachment.
Can you not?
No epic heroes. Be'lakor is a jealous prince.
Ah, okay. So that was a Bloodthirster that you were using.
Yes.
They were using.
And what's great is
Bloodthirster.
On all that damage, I just be like, oh, I'll just put out a Scout Squad or Rattling Squad or screen him with 10 Catachan. He'll kill 10 Catachan in a 80-point unit, and I'll kill his 300-point monster. Remember, there's an enhancement that can put him back up in reserve so you can rapid ingress him somewhere else to advance and charge later. No, you didn't. That
and
one
then you can be in your own shadows, deep strike 6 inches, and advance and charge. And charge.
You can't deep strike 6 inches. That is strictly the demonic incursion detachment rule.
They were playing it all over this weekend, so a lot of people were cheating.
They were cheating. Which shadows does exist because this is a demon army, and the demon army rule is Shadows of Chaos, which there are ways to get. The main one is Greater Demons. The other one is play who controls more in a certain area of the board. But all it does is +1 to your battle shock tests, not your leadership. -1 to your opponent's battle shock tests, not their leadership. And if you pass, you get D3 wounds back, and if they fail, they lose D3 mortal wounds. Also, Be'lakor got another buff. He has 3 abilities. One of them didn't change, which is a 6-inch aura of anything within it, not wholly within. Gets 18-inch Lone Op. Very good for turn 1. Ork Mardaka is not shooting you with that. And funnily enough, this is one of those armies that don't care about Gretchen Jail, because like you've heard us saying, a lot of these demons fly, and if anything in the game is going to stand up to orc shooting, it's a great unclean one with -1 to wound if your strength is higher. Also, you can move block them with your own Nurglings, and they can't get over it, because again, orcs don't fly. But much more importantly, Be'lakor's his other auras reroll 1s within 6 inches. And his final one is you must take a battle shock test if you're below starting strength, not below half. And for every unit that fails a battle shock, not just ones caused by that ability, within 6 inches of him, he gets D3 wounds back.
Oh, wow.
So it's a bit gimmicky and Candyland-y, but it's not inconceivable that you could just weaken a few things, especially considering Bloodthirster's end of the fight phase ability to roll 8 dice, and every 4 up is a mortal wound to a unit they're engagement range of. And have Be'lakor shoot one thing next to what he's charging, charge just that, and then, have, 2 to 3 battle shock tests go off, and suddenly you get back 3d3 wounds on Be'lakor in their command phase.
So you can't deep strike a Bloodthirster 6 inches in charge?
Only in demonic incursion. Unless that detachment, one of its 2 stratagems, is a 6-inch deep strike and charge stratagem, which I don't remember they have. They could. I'm not an expert. But no, if you go look at the demonic incursion detachment rule, that allows you to deep strike within 6 of your own shadows. And more importantly, a greater demon cannot generate their own shadows upon arrival. There has to already be a shadow for them to land in within 6.
So like you've done against me a couple of times, you already had demons on the board.
Yeah, I've had to leave Keepers of Secrets down to advance up and then drop Shalaxi with a rerollable 6.
Exactly.
But yes, if you're not in demonic incursion, do not put your demon 6 inches away. That is cheating.
You've been hearing the chirps from people talking about how demons are probably going to be phased out, specifically the Age of Sigmar looking one, so that omits like the Red Master, chariots, things like that, how they're going to remove that out of the game.
Slanesh lost every chariot they had. Best dog Karnak, he got the other treatment for no reason other than, he's an Age of Sigmar model.
Yep.
I was really hoping GW would go the other way with it and bring Sinessa and the other, whatever her sister's name is from AOS to 40K, because those models are gorgeous and they're demons. But no, it does look like GW is in fact phasing out
fantasy-esque type models for 40K. Yep.
Okay, I have a soapbox to go on, and I'm so sorry to our audience, but why do wolves get Logan Grimnar on a chariot, but demons can't have chariots they've had forever? Why do Space Marine have so many mounted options and demons lose like a third of the few they had? Why?
Because it's fantasy. Because those space wolves on Wolf on Wolf are not in fantasy. You can't take Logan Grimnar in Age of Sigmar.
No, you're right. You put him on a Santa sled and call it Grimdark. I got it. This is no hate to Space Wolf players. I'm glad you guys got like multiple ways to run your cool characters. It just deeply aggravates me when other armies arbitrarily lose things for no reason. Yep. I have my own theory, but this isn't a theory show. This is let's talk about the meta show.
That's the tertiary part of this show. It's all the cries and tears and complaints. It's the complaints department. Come on now.
It is not a coincidence to me, very similar to Tactical Brigade in Let's Dakka, that just when the Slaanesh Power Armor faction is becoming legal and playable, the Slaanesh faction got gutted.
Yep.
And like people were talking about earlier, nerf the detachment rule, nerf the rules you get. Don't increase points on Ludas because they're useless elsewhere. Don't, bust up other detachments to make prop this one up and then nerf this one into nothing because you'll be left with nothing. You're all right. But imagine if GW went the other way and did all three of them and increased Luda points, gutted the detachment, and took models out of your range.
They already did that to Orks once when they killed the Bully Boys detachment. Made all Mega Knobs so expensive, people stop even taking them.
Right. Now imagine they did that, but they also took out the entire Beast Snagga line, kill rigs. They said nope, you don't get to have that play style, and this other one also goes away because the backup for Slaanesh would have been Chariot Spam. It would have been Seekers, still some amount of Demonettes with Celeste, the mask for lone op shenanigans, and then just like 9 Chariots.
Yep.
Because they were T7 or T6, 7 wounds, 4 up invul, and move 14. Some got lethal or sustained hits on the charge. Some did mortals every fight phase, whether they charged or not. They weren't great, but they would have pretty much been wolf jail, but for demons.
Yep, the entire time. Yeah, Tom. I still like Bully Boys and Orks. I still like them.
I have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to make a rise once Yannari and Mordaka gets handled. I think I unironically think it's going to be Warhorde and Bully Boys again.
Just increase the power level to everything else. There you go. Just make them like more Dakka.
No. Stop it. That was called 9th edition, and look, as fun as it was for everything to feel powerful, nothing mattered in 9th edition because it was going to die. Like, durability just wasn't a stat.
Yep.
Unless you had army-wide transhuman, which then got nerfed, like obliterated a month later. Because they had to make the same mistake like 4 times to realize army-wide transhuman was just bad.
Yes. And they kept on putting it on different armies.
That's what I'm saying. They did it like 4 times. And then they got the Harlequins like, wait. What if we made it trans hitman? Aha, surely this won't be broken.
Yeah, so talking about the meta, everything is looking, a lot of things are looking really good. Knights, Chaos, Demons specifically.
I do think that Demonic Incursion is very strong. The 6th because I Oh, Scarbrand got a buff as well. He now moves 10 inches and can always advance and charge.
That's
He
right.
used to
Yeah.
be 8.
Onto that sheet. Yep.
So he is fast boy. And
Yep.
I also just got corrected live. Hey, what up, Nick? That Bellacor's Battle Shock aura is actually 9, not 6 like his other two. So he has a 9-inch aura of if you're below starting strength, take a test. The 6-inch aura is you are -1 because you would be in his shadows, or if you're another greater demon shadows, or shadows from board presence, you would be -1, which is real funny because you lose D3 wounds being in shadows, and he gains D3
Yep.
for every unit that fails.
Yep. It was hilarious over the weekend to watch demons get hit by shock attack guns, and they incur a battle shock test. And every time he hit him, he just healed himself.
I practice against Corn Demon player quite often, Brian, and every time he's like, "Can you call shadows?" I'm like, "Oh God, you're so hard to wound." I'm like, what? I do every game. I mean, I do use it, but it's like,
it's just funny to see that, man. It's just like I'm hitting you, trying to kill you, and reheal. Go ahead, reheal.
Yeah, no, it is funny to like, oh, to get battle shock test, like, thanks, yoink.
Yep.
I will say the one slight thing for Slanesh that is this is a not even a silver line. This is like a lead lining, but demonettes now cause a battle shock at the start of the fight phase when they're within engagement range of something, and that does make the most useless strat in demonic incursion viable now, which is reroll all wounds against the battle shock foe, because they're still dev wounds, and Selesky gives them crit 5s to wound. Now they hit on 3s, no rerolls. There's nothing you can do about that. So you get 20 hits, but crit 5s, reroll all wounds. You're still averaging like 11, 12 mortal wounds. You'll still just drop a tank most, and that's before Selesky themselves swing.
Yep.
Who don't have anything to proc off of crit 5s, but hey, it's something. Also, it's depending on your shadow situation, because it's the board present shadows checks every phase, so it could change from your charge to whether or not you control an objective or not, or enough objectives to get it. But again, that's like a lead lining here. We're really reaching for the positive. But back to my main point, getting off my soapbox now. I do think the meta is incredibly healthy. I think there are a couple of outliers on both ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
Not counting Imperial Agents, because I'm convinced that was just brought back for ally purposes and to give Deathwatch a reason to exist again, which is fair. Yep. Taking an entire army away from a loyal following is, I mean, to me, that's a very imperialistic thing to do. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but yeah, everyone should get to enjoy the toys that they want to and put time into.
But that's the thing. Deathwatch got nerfed too, and you can't enjoy them anymore.
What got nerfed in Deathwatch?
They got pile drive, man. They're not performing well right now.
They're not performing well, I think, because people figured out how to, play against them. Like, yes, they took a hit, but
so why can't they do that for more Dakka?
It's the same reason that GW doesn't understand why Space Marines is always going to be right around 50%, probably a little less. Yep. If you make an entire faction that is almost half of the playable factions your poster boy army, new people are going to pick that up and take it to play. And you're going to tank the win rate.
Yep.
Now, this isn't a GW style get good guys lull. It's just a fact of life. The more people you have, the more average your numbers are going to look.
Just like I talked about, right? There was a lot of events that Orks didn't even make. It didn't even crack like the top 50.
There was a guy who took this last week through Meta Monday. I saw one player took Wario Bioform Onslaught for Tyranids and got like an 80% win rate with it. Warrior Bioform Onslaught, just so everyone knows, is not an 80% performing faction.
No, it's not.
And they didn't even go 3-0 for the record. Or I think they went 3-1. So, or something like that. It would 4-1. 4-1 would be 80%. Yeah. So, But overall, I think the meta is very healthy. I think, Tyranids have multiple play styles. Space Marines of any faction has, like, even Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, God forbid Ultramarines, have multiple play styles they can choose from. Tau are sitting very pretty with, like, 3 to 4 viable options.
Yep.
Even the last time I looked at World Eaters, like, they were only, like, 2% apart, both in, like, the 47% win rates for Berserker and Vessels of Wrath.
Vessels of Wrath the other day was like at 61%, and people were out playing. They were playing Vessels of Wrath so much it was triple the amount of Berserker ban.
And so I do agree. I think there are I think Admech need a little bit of help, like one more fix somewhere to their data sheets.
Yeah.
I think GSC are in a perfect place. I think Custodians are also in a perfect place as well. They got new detachment lines, the Emperor.
Oh, that's another one. Custodes are amazing. Yeah.
I have many friends who play Custodians, and I will tell you,
ask Nick how good are Custodes.
I was kind of a bit of a deviant friend watching everyone talk about how they're going to swap their wardens for Terminators, and I'm just sitting here doing Exocrine and Gene Stealer math into Terminators Custodian Terminators, and I'm like, yes, get those wardens off the table. I'm so tired of not being able to kill them. But they're good. Like even the Dreadnought build got nerfed, but like I think it just amounts to take one less Dreadnought. Okay.
Yep.
And the what was it? The WTC winning list is still super viable. It didn't go anywhere.
What we need is Vanguard Onslaught on steroids.
I was gonna say I send the stats to some groups I'm in almost every Monday or Tuesday, and consistently Vanguard Onslaught's like 38%, 33% win rate, and I'm like, I'm both happy because it's flying under the radar of the Nerf hammer, but also what the hell, Tyranid people, it's better than that. Come on. But it's like you said, people don't play Tau because it's the path of least resistance for the most success.
Yep.
All the Tyranid players right now are either one, not playing Tyranids because they're not a top performing faction, or the diehard ones are playing Assimilation Swarm or Invasion Fleet or a Monster Crusher or Crusher Stampede.
And Yannara didn't get nerfed, and they're still not winning.
I think I said it in the episode where we had all the elf players on. This Eldar Codex is the most glass cannony of glass cannons, where like they will obliterate you if they get the chance, but if you leave anything alive, you are going to lose half your army in response.
Yep.
You like me and a friend did a test game where I took a bunch of less than optimal Tyranid units just to give him. He doesn't play super often or competitively, and like even the units I took were like just mega lethal. I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, these aren't supposed to threaten anyone. Why are you dying?
Because they died to a swift breeze, man.
I severely I play guard a lot, and you died, like, oh my, how are you dying faster than a guardsman? What is happening? The answer is they have 1/3 the bodies guard do, so they're dying at the same speed. It just matters a lot more.
Yep, a lot more. Like Harlequins.
You want to touch on your Harlequins and where they're at right now?
Touch on them. They haven't felt touching in a long time. They get no love, no TLC at all. Harlequins, so they're horrible as a detachment. The detachment rule is absolutely horrible. So yeah, the opposite of more Dakka. It's more like less Dakka for Harlequins.
It's a build your own adventure of damage. If you turn to the wrong page, you died.
No matter how bad I want to stick to monofaction Harlequins, I had to throw in there 15 Dark Reapers, 10 Fire Dragons, and 10 Warp Spiders. Like, their options for anti-vehicle is complete ass right now in this meta.
There aren't a lot of vehicles out there right now, are there?
There are.
Nah, it's not like Knights just won your GT. It's fine. I'm sure you can, do something about it.
It sucks when Haywire is only strength 3, 3 damage flat, and only 1 AP.
Yeah, no,
It's
Hive
something
Guard
that
shot
melts.
cannons.
Yeah.
Hive Guard shot. They're like strength 6, 1 AP, flat 3 damage, and it's like anti-vehicle 4+. I'm like, that would be great, but you see that 1 AP not ignores cover?
Yep.
That sucks.
And being
Also-
strength 3 into what? Eldar? Like, that doesn't matter.
Well, also another army I wanted to touch on that was, a terror for a while and is getting some recognition back. Sisters, they got their Miracle Dice back.
They did.
They, for those of you who don't know, they got to change. So now it's every unit that dies in a phase generates 1. Not if a unit died, you get just 1. So before, and this is what it was originally. If you lost 3 Sisters units, you got 3 Miracle Dice.
Yep.
The last nerf changed it to where no matter how many you lost, it was just 1.
1.
So now Sisters can play the trade game, which is how they've always played and should play, in my opinion. Unlike
Regal, we lost you. All right, so continuing on Sisters of Battle. Sisters of Battle are... There you go. There you go. You're back, baby.
I have no idea what just happened. But yeah,
It was-
both
It was a black cat in the Matrix.
apparently Bringers of Flame and what was it? The Army of Faith are back. I still think that Hallowed Martyrs is the strongest way to play Sisters at the moment. It's just, especially with these Miracle Dice, putting whatever her Agatha and the enhancement that lets you let something die and you can bring it back anyway with an Imaginifier and have an Imaginifier nearby to re-roll those or flip them to 6s. Every Miracle Dice is just like 2d3 plus 2 Miracle Dice plus your normal generation. And lest anyone forget, every Sisters army starts with Vol and 3 Castigators. And
Yep.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. You cannot convince me an army that starts with Vol and a Vol suit squad and 3 Castigators is bad. That
It's
is
still disgusting. That unit's still gross.
Castigators are gross.
Yeah.
Castigators are like slightly relevantly as tough Exocrine, but with 3 heavy bolters strapped on and can use a smoke stratagem.
Yeah.
And an invuln.
And an info. Yep.
For cheaper points now. So yeah, real good.
Gotta love it. So we'll see how the meta pans out in the next 2 weeks. I know there's a bunch of videos we're going to be dropping soon. I know you want to do some Tyranid stuff, so we're going to drop that on the channel. I think we've covered just about everything.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Was there another? Let's see. Chaos Demons got a detachment. Orks got a detachment. Custodians and Tau got a detachment. That was it, right?
That's worth talking. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, I to lead off, I know we, talked a lot about what's OP and broken, but I do genuinely think this is a very healthy meta. And once, like the 3 or 4 outlining armies are brought into line, this is a very good time to go to events, play with your friends, everyone has a shot right now. And
yep.
That's why I'm really happy with this hobby and, excited to get out and play.
Yep.
There are
I agree.
Other than,
And with that being said, congratulations once again to Dustin.
Absolutely.
Right? With winning with Imperial Knights, he actually ended up beating John Lennon in points. First and second place, Lennon ended up going second. And then David Ozawa went undefeated with his Grey Knights. Oh, no, he lost 1 with his Grey Knights.
That is a list, too. I looked at it. It had, Razorback spam. I did oh, my
4.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Full rerolls on those last cannons. Nasty.
Yep. I mean, people don't see them often. People don't see Grey Knights often. And Grey Knights play really well into a lot of things. So congratulations to all of the participants, as always. What else you got for us, Regal?
Nothing. If last thing I would say is, don't give in to the doom and gloom and look at what you can do to leverage your matchups. To even if it's a loss, it doesn't have to be a loss by 100 to -15 percent. Make your opponent work for it. I have personally been in matches that were supposed to be auto losses, and were it not for one decision made or a card drawn a turn sooner or a save that was passed failed, I'd have won. And my opponents were like, this should not have happened. Before, I played a Death Guard player, Crucible, that thought he had it in the bag. He's playing Death Guard. I'm playing melee Tyranids. I trashed him 100-30. Great guy, no disrespect to him, but he just went in with the, Death Guard beats melee, I win, and was just shocked for it.
Nah,
if you have the money and accessibility to do that, that will help your win percentage. That's not my style. I'm kind of committed to the bid at this point, but hey, more power to those of you that can do that.
Yep. Everyone enjoy your more Dakka, which is going to be less Dakka really soon.
Nick's not leaving his power armor, for those of you who don't know.
Nah, he's not. even he is not going to play Orks. If I gave it to him, he still wouldn't play it probably.
Whether it's spiky or slick, it's going to be black and on the table.
And that ends our show right there. As always, thank you very much to everyone. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This helps us out tremendously. I have to feed this gentleman. How do you think he keeps his beautiful face? All right. So make sure to help out if you can. Don't forget Onslaught Gaming 40K, where victory is just a strategy away. And Regal, let the people know how you feel about this exit.
Everyone have a good night. I'm actually on a high note.
Reading Rainbow, everyone. Have a magical night.
Alienating our audience, one member at a time. Let's go.
Everyone, take care. Have a great night.